So you're still running your calendar?
Oh yeah, we've checked out all sorts of cool stuff in December, like...
On December 1, 1857, we headed west with a move of the capital of Iowa from Iowa City to Des Moines, before we went back immediately to Iowa City to take a look at the December 2, 1958 selection of University of Iowa quarterback Randy Duncan, number 1 in the NFL draft, as well as the December 2, 1998 hiring of Hawkeye head football coach Kirk Ferentz. We got in the holiday spirit with Wall Lake's multi-platinum selling recording artist Andy Williams on his December 3, 1927 birthday, and on December 4, 1921, we examined meatpacking in Iowa on the anniversary of influential Ottumwa meatpacker John H. Morrill's death. Another piece of Hawkeye history caught our attention on December 5, 1939, when Adele's favorite son, Niall Kinnick, hoisted the Heisman Trophy. On December 6, 1876, we chugged up the steps of the Iowa State Capitol on a Mason hill climber on the date of the famous automobile manufacturer Fred Duesenberg's birth. A day which lives in infamy for all Americans. December 7, 1941 took us to Pearl Harbor as we examined the return of remains to the Hawkeye State thanks to DNA testing of 2 Iowans unfortunately aboard the USS Oklahoma on the tragic day which drew the United States into World War II. We celebrated with Des Moines-born Bill Bryson on the date of the author's December 8, 1951 birth, before we headed to Eastern Iowa to hoist the first ever Heisman Trophy with Dubuque senior standout footballer Jay Berwanger on the December 9, 1935 date, which he won college football's most prestigious award. We arrived at the newly built Iowa Children's Hospital with Santa Claus during the jolly old man's first ever visit to the Iowa City facility on December 10, 1919, and we took a look at the career of poet and writer J.G. Sigmund of the Wapsie Valley on the date of his December 11, 1855 birth. We rode into Marcus to celebrate the opening of America's oldest cooperative elevator on its December 12, 1887 incorporation before the one-in-hand tie company of Clinton introduced the world to the clip-on tie and the date the invention's first patent found approval, December 13, 1928. The reality that freedom of speech doesn't end at the schoolhouse gate reminded us of the Tinker family's fight for freedom of speech on December 14, 1965, and we headed way back to December 15, 1797 to examine the life of Indigenous interpreter Antoine Leclerc on the date of his birth. We looked back in the life of Iowa governor and conservation advocate Beryl Franklin Carroll on the date of his December 16, 1939 death, before he grappled with Humboldt's heavyweight champion of the world, Frank Gotch, on the date he passed away, December 17, 1917. The Wizard of Spirit Lake, Dude Gilbert, perhaps the greatest trap shooter in history, brought us to the Iowa Great Lakes on the date of his birth, December 18, 1865, before we rode the Rock Island into River City with Mason City's favorite son, Meredith Wilson, for the December 19, 1957 opening of The Music Man on Broadway. The life of Iowa's Civil War governor Samuel J. Kirkwood caught our attention on the date of his December 20, 1813 birth, before we headed to Iowa Falls to examine the failure of 3 banks on December 21, 1932, as the Great Depression raged across America. With incredible sadness, we looked back on the December 22, 1999 fire, which claimed the lives of 3 firefighters and 3 children in Keokuk, before, on December 23, 1963, we took a look at the agreement to create the Des Moines Children's Zoo in Iowa's capital city. The life of popular children's radio host and Iowa State University faculty member Edith Maribel Sunderland took us to Ames for her birth on December 24, 1901, before we explored Cold War espionage with Soviet spy George Koval, born in Iowa December 25, 1913. Life of American Civil War general and one-time mayor of Keokuk Samuel Ryan Curtis brought us to the southeastern Iowa town on the famous military man's death on December 26, 1866, and we met with the Iowa Farm Bureau in Marshalltown at the organization's founding on December 27, 1918. A celebration of statehood awaited us on the anniversary of Iowa becoming the 29th state in the Union on December 28, 1849, before the beauty from Baxter, Claire Dodd, took us to Hollywood on the December 29, 1908 date of the actress's birth. December 30, 1894 gave us a reason to celebrate the life of suffragette and pants for women advocate Amelia Jenks Bloomer, and on December 31, 1944, we caught up with the USS Iowa as the destroyer served valiantly in the Pacific Theater during World War II.
Okay, cool. You want to head to the state park for the first day hike?
There's a lot of good history about Iowa a lot of people don't even know about.